Mr. Speaker, the Prime Minister easily found $60 million for his ArriveCAN app, but he still wants to quadruple the carbon tax on gas, groceries, and home eating. While the typical Canadian family will pay $700 more to put food on the table this year, this Prime Minister is raising the carbon tax by 23% on April 1st. After 8 years of this Liberal-NDP government, more and more Canadians are struggling to make ends meet and to pay for food, heat, and housing. This Prime Minister is not worth the cost or the tax. Will the Prime Minister give Canadians some relief and axe the tax?
Hear, hear. Well done.
The Honourable President of the Treasury Board.
Mr. Speaker, unlike the Conservatives who want to take money away from Canadians, we're putting money back in the pockets of Canadians with rebates. So I have a question for my honourable friend. Will you cut the $1,100 for Ontario families? Or how about the $1,800 for Alberta families? How about the $1,200 that Manitoba families are going to get back? You want to deny climate change? You want to cut rebates for Canadians? That doesn't sound like common sense to me.
The Honourable Member from South Shore, St. Margaret's.
The Prime Minister's NDP-Liberal friends got rich turning the ArriveCAN app into a $60 million grift for an $80,000 app. But if hurting taxpayers for personal gain of Liberals wasn't enough, now this Prime Minister is going to increase the cost of everything on April 1st when he increases the carbon tax by 23%. Nova Scotians will pay $2,100 more than they get back for this carbon tax. After 8 years, this Prime Minister is not worth the cost. So when will Liberals stop hurting Canadians and axe the carbon tax?
The Honourable President of the Treasury Board.
Mr. Speaker, let's focus on what Canadians are actually getting back. In 2023-24, Ontario, $976, Alberta, $1,500, Saskatchewan, $1,300, Manitoba, $1,000, Newfoundland, $900, Nova Scotia, $700, PEI, $700, New Brunswick, $500, Mr. Speaker. These are rebates, and the Conservatives want to...
Order, colleagues. The Honourable Minister has 12 seconds left on the clock.
Mr. Speaker, it doesn't make sense. It's not common sense to deny climate change and to cut money from Canadian families.
The Honourable Member from Fort McMurray, Cold Lake.
After 8 years of this Liberal Prime Minister, costs are up. Already a typical family of 4 will pay $700 more in groceries in 2024 compared to last year. I've talked to moms who are skipping meals simply so they can feed their children. Yet for this extremist NDP-Liberal coalition, this isn't enough. It's gross. They are going to continue punishing Canadians, raising the carbon tax on April 1st. So the question is simple. Will they do the right thing and axe the tax?
The Honourable Minister for Workforce Development.
Speaker, we will do the right thing, continue to fight climate change, and make sure that Albertans have more money in their pockets than they are paying in the carbon pricing. Why, Mr. Speaker? $1,800 to a family of 4, and if you get the rural top-up, 20% top-up, $2,160. Let's dial that back, Mr. Speaker. $450 every 3 months into the...
Colleagues, the reason why I've stood up the last couple of times is because the chair has had difficulty in hearing the answer from the honourable members. I'm going to ask honourable members who sit near the minister to please hold your comments back until you have the time to ask a question. The honourable minister has 12 seconds left on the clock if he chooses to use it.
Mr. Speaker, I choose to use the 12 seconds because Albertans need to know falsehoods from the Conservatives don't pay the bills. Canada carbon rebate helps. That's why we put it in place.